Which back of the house service tasks do you think are most likely to be automated first in the coming years?
Well, I think a lot of, several are already in the process, right? We're looking at some of them up on the screen. Saucing and toasting buns, right? And we've all seen Flippy, and there's other similar type robotic arms doing the same thing at the fry station, right? Beverage automation is a big one with, POS integration. McDonald's has been doing that for years, but now that's starting to open up to, other manufacturers doing that outside of who does it for McDonald's. Grilling, cooking. But here's a big one too, is I think IoT gets missed a lot in sort of connected kitchen in automation. If you think about how many times today a manager has to touch a clipboard to record time and temperatures, record the cooking process. We've done some things around HACCP controls through IoT, through a smart kitchen, connected equipment, equipment that is not having to be tracked by a clipboard with the temperature manually, all that being done electronically, right? And that removes real work content out of the restaurants and allows the manager to focus on other things, right? But ultimately, I think, the restaurant industry is so behind in automation, robotics, whatever we want to call this, that we have to approach it and attack it a little differently than just thinking we can just go all the way to bright with something, right? I think I heard Jeff or Tom, somebody said boiling the ocean, right? And that's too scary, and that's too big, and that's too, too large to try to even comprehend, right? But being able to do things in piecemeal it, right? And so if you can automate your saucing, right? If you can automate your beverages, right? And you think of manufacturing in the past, manufacturing didn't start out with a fully, automated production line, right? They start off just, hey, if we could just move this piece of steel over to here and I have to have an employee do it, we remove that task, right? And let them do something more important, right? And so I think looking at automation in the restaurants where we can remove some of that challenging work content piece by piece, redeploy some of that labor into more productive areas or guest interacting, those are the areas that we're focused on, but I think makes the most sense for the industry as well.
Yeah, there are jobs that they're dangerous. There are jobs which are non-rewarding and maybe difficult, challenging. If you've ever breaded protein in a cold table, I think you'll find out that that's probably a job a machine might be better to do, right? As an example.
Take Buffalo Wild Wings. Who wants to stand there and cook wings all day long? Man, it's hot, it's heavy, it's a difficult.
You go home smelling like wings.
Home smelling, yeah. So, it's not the top position that gets applied for there, And so, but it's one of the most important ones, right? So being able to automate that, right? To not only just retain talent, but attract talent. And the younger generation today that, by the way, is right now not getting in the restaurant industry as we see, right? We got to find ways to attract them. And technology, using automation, that's going to attract that younger generation as well, who expects that, thinks that's cool, right?
So, agree with all that. Also agree with the fact of incremental automation, trying to find that best next spot to put it in. I would also add to it, move as fast as possible with that incremental approach, knowing that there's others out there that are thinking about the whole approach, and that's disruptive. So we're going to see folks come in with the fully automated kitchens at some point. And so how do we, as with legacy restaurants, make sure that we're moving very, very fast? And then how do we build our new restaurants? Do we go in with the latest, greatest? Do we take a little risk? Do we have a little pain in the process to make sure that we're moving on innovation as fast as possible?
And here's something that I think most people in the room could probably relate to, because it's directly associated with you, is we talked about the human factor, but what if we automated decision making? So here's an example. I'm in the midst of building a hamburger, a sub, or a sandwich, and another order pops up, and I have to toast a bun. So my choice that I have to make is, do I finish building this sandwich and further delay dropping that bun for that one, or do I stop building this sandwich, go and drop the bun, and then finish my sandwich so that the bun is ready for me? That decision happens multiple times a minute.
Yeah.
And if a crew member does not need to make that decision, think of the impact of that. So that's incremental, can be done very quickly, goes into other stuff like back of house inventory. Those are the type of things. It's not always the big mama that you have to worry about.